but it's okay.
Do you still are you still doing that Zoom thing like the file
Yeah,
recording?
yeah, yeah. I'm still doing it. I had to delete some of it because what's it called was yeah.
the teams to be in that. Like, you can't allow a team to come on your home court and do you dirty like that. Like, if you lose 2-1, cool. We're cool. We're all cool with losing 2-1. We know Belgium was a more superior team. You lose 2-1, that's fine. 3-1, we know it was mental errors. But 4-1 is an absolute embarrassment. Losing 4-1 in the quarterfinals is like getting, it's worse. It honestly is worse than 28-3, in my opinion. So that's all I have for it. I want to leave you guys with some comments on it.
You go first.
I'll go first. I can't say it's worse than 28-3 because not at any point was the U.S. expected to win that game. In fact, they were honored to be there in the first place, if we really want to call a spade a spade. They had an easier pathway. When you go and look at their draw, they surprised other teams and a lot of other clubs out there, since I'm learning more about soccer, right? I think that the biggest issue there is that people started believing into the hype of the U.S. men's national team after initially stating that they didn't have a chance in the first place. People started flip-flopping and they got too excited about it. It's kind of like in the example that you gave of 28-3, the hype behind 28-3, yes, but not, they weren't expected to win that game, right? I think that people started going onto the bandwagon and getting excited about soccer. And, I was actually up there in Philly around the World Cup time. I didn't really see any U.S. jerseys, so interesting enough. Saw a bunch of Brazil jerseys, saw a bunch of Colombia jerseys, saw a bunch of just every other country. U.S. was still like, the Eagles, though, the 76ers. Like, it just still wasn't that draw yet. Now, what I am excited about is that there's going to be a rebirth and renewal of energy when it comes to soccer now as a result of it coming here. I think that a lot more kids are going to be playing soccer. I think we're going to have a much more talented team in about 4 years than we had right now. Olympic soccer is going to be great. And then they start playing these clubs and whatnot. I also think that the really part that a lot of people aren't talking about or aren't talking about as much that we kind of just mentioned is the changing of the guard. That is going to be so critical in regards to the development of soccer, not only as a sport, because we already know it's developed worldwide, but more so the interest of it. Because now, think about it, when Ronaldo was out there, people loved him. When Ronaldinho was out there, they loved him, right? The Pele was out there, they loved him. And that changing of the guard is happening. You have to have a superstar there. The question is, after Ronaldo and Messi and et cetera, who is the next star? Looks like the guy out of Britain, to be honest. Or maybe it's the guy out of one of the guys in Argentina, right? Maybe it's that gentleman from Mexico. I don't know. But I'm excited to see what happens, what develops, where it goes. And I think that the biggest thing is that the U.S. did not collapse. I don't want you to think they collapsed. They just weren't good enough. And they were lucky to be in the position that they were in fact, much less to think that they were supposed to win and win it all. People got too caught up in their hype that they couldn't actually understand the game. So that's what I had.
So as the guy who doesn't watch soccer the most out of the group, I was impressed that they made it that far because I felt like the U.S. team was the least experienced out of the bunch. But I'm sorry. So, unbeknownst to them, I was out with a friend and I got sent on a blind date last night. And we were at a pool table facility watching the soccer game. I knew the U.S. was done when the goalie went out of his box, out of his range, and was trying to kick it to save the team. I knew they were done from then. When I saw him try to do it, I'm like, you don't leave your position. You don't leave your assignment. And, excuse me, lo and behold, they lost 4-1. They gave it their all, though. They tried. They were really good. They just weren't part of the big leagues. But like Mike said, it's going to generate a lot of buzz. You're going to get a lot of people that want to do and play soccer. They're still going to be eons away from the big leagues, but they'll be competitive enough probably in the next 1 or 2 World Cups. Definitely believe that. I wonder if we're going to talk about that team that made a good entrance into Capo Verde. We going to
could be in there.
I wonder because that I don't even watch soccer, but I was amazed at that match. If we talk about it, we talk about it. Who knows?
Well, the second question is: as the legends ride off into the sunset, who do you think would be the undisputed GOAT of soccer? Is it Messi, Ronaldo, Pele, or Maradona? Or does someone else deserve the crown? And if your GOAT isn't winning this debate unanimously, were they ever really the GOAT?
I'll go for this. I'll go first for this one because I like I said I don't watch it, but the one name I've heard all the time, you call him the number 10, Messi. So it was the game Cabo Verde versus Argentina. I think it was Argentina, right? So, right? Yeah. Okay. So that goalie was having the game of his life. He was fighting just to save his life because Messi kept on kicking and kicking and kicking and kicking. Like, goodness gracious. But Messi was just relentless. And every single time I've heard his name, I've seen just some amazing highlight, some amazing kick that just blows your mind. And considering that I guess that's the guy I heard about most growing up. I mean, you heard of the Ronaldinhos, the Peles, the Neymars, and all that world. But as far as Messi, he's probably in that number one A as the greatest, probably of all time. Maybe I don't know. I'll leave that to Cali. But as far as me, he would be the GOAT in soccer.
Um, so what I think of it is kind of like the conversation between Jordan and LeBron, who's to go, right? Um, and that's not in regards to Messi and Ronaldo. That's actually in regards to Messi and Pele. Because Pele, for me, that dude was amazing with what he was doing, especially for the country he was doing it for, especially for the impact he's making, especially with how they didn't have the advancements that the others had. You know, they were fighting an uphill battle every time. Now, don't get me wrong. Messi to me is LeBron James, which means that Messi is the GOAT because LeBron James is the GOAT. But Pele, from a conversational perspective, is definitely in the conversation. The ones that we're not talking about, though, is Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was amazing, was a fantastic scorer, was just crushing it for years and years. He was actually at the top of the field there. And then the interesting thing is that Ronaldo shouldn't be forgotten in this capacity. Ronaldo's like Steph Curry in this instance, right? Like he's multiple time champion, one of the conversationalists for the GOAT. And if it wasn't for Messi, he would probably unequivocally be the GOAT, you know, or at least be really in that conversation. We also have to think about people like Zidane, who was fantastic back in the day, and then David Beckham, right? Bended like Beckham was a huge thing. Mm-hmm. The interesting part is David Beckham, crazy talented, was nowhere near as good as Messi, was nowhere near as Ronaldinho, was nowhere near as good as Ronaldo, right? I think what makes the Ronaldo Messi conversation so interesting is that their styles are so different, but they play very similar positions. If I'm not mistaken, they're both attacking forwards, right? Mm-hmm. So they're driving the strikers, you know, they're dynamic. Ronaldo's actually a header, a better header than Messi is, in my opinion. But Messi is great because Messi also plays defense, and he's just amazing in regards to, as Jordan's point, to his relentless nature. So I think that I'm interested to see how the torch passes, the eras of soccer as they go on. There's a bunch of amazing players. Some come to mind to me from Mexico, some from Spain, Argentina, you know, etc. The interesting thing in soccer that I'm learning about more is that they go and they play for these World Cups and they play for their country just like they do in the Olympics, right? But then they leave and then they go play for their clubs, and now the clubs is entirely different. They're going from the Liverpool to the Manchester United to the Barcelonas to the, you know, all the different cups and different leagues and things like that. So I'm still trying to get into soccer. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a novice comparatively to my brother Cal, who actually played soccer and really was passionate about it. Shouts to him, by the way. But I think for the sake of Squad Sportscast, I'm going to agree with Jordan in this instance. I'm going to call Messi the GOAT because to me, Messi is the LeBron James of soccer. But Pele, to me, is the Michael Jordan of soccer, which for a lot of people would mean that he's the GOAT in their mind. And then Kobe, which would be like 9th on the list. That would be more like David Beckham type of thing.
Haters, man,
You know,
who was doing so good
versus
y'all.
like Ronaldo, as I mentioned, being more like a Steph Curry. I wouldn't have considered him like a Kobe because then I would have put him down too low on the list of greatest of all time. So that was what I had there.
Haters, man, go. It was starting off so good. I don't know why this man goes and throws shots out here, but Mike's comparison is correct, and I feel the need to put Pele as the GOAT because winning one FIFA championship is hard enough to do. Pele's won 3 of them in 3 different eras: 1958, 1962, and 1970. And he actually won 2 back to back. So 58 and 62 are back to back. So let's keep that in mind. So also, you got to understand, like, the 1970 World Cups team is considered by a lot of fans to be one of the greatest teams ever assembled. But I'm not here to down anybody else because when I first started, Messi definitely attracted me because the way the man attacks the game, it's LeBron-esque, honestly. That's why I said, like, your analysis of who the GOAT is by far pretty accurate. Because if you're looking at the game, especially from the 90s till now, you understand Messi was a player. Messi was the player. Like, he's the person you aspire to be. Ronaldo is definitely getting up there with the popularity. But if you put Ronaldo and Messi together, I'm sorry, it's going to be Messi every time. So I do believe it's Pele first. And I'll be fair, if Messi ends up winning another one, it may very well be Messi at the end of the day. So we will see what happens. But enough of that. We're gonna move it on to our next topic, still staying within the World Cup standings. Ladies and gentlemen, the quarterfinals are officially set. And what a round of 16 it was. We actually didn't even get to go over the round of 32, but we can go over that in a little bit. But as for the round of 16, it was some crazy matches that were out there. Morocco made a statement by crushing Canada 3-0. France survived a gritty battle with Paraguay, winning 1-0. Norway pulled the biggest upset of the tournament, knocking out Brazil 2-1 behind a brace from Erling Haaland. England outlasted Mexico 3-2. Shout out to my daughter because she really put a bet on thinking that Mexico was going to win. So shout out to Karen. Hey, it is what it is. I'll still get you that jersey. I'll still get you that Mexico jersey, but they didn't end up doing it. Where am I at? Despite playing much of the second half with 10 men, they still pulled it off. Spain ended Cristiano Ronaldo's World Cup career with a dramatic 1-0 stoppage time win over Portugal. And Belgium, of course, dismantled Team USA 4-1. Finally, the shock of the day, Argentina erased a 2-0 deficit against Egypt to win 3-2. And then Switzerland advanced past Colombia in a penalty shootout to complete the quarterfinal fields. Now, one of the shockers of the absolute year was Cape Verde in their fight against Argentina. They were able to not only hold their own against Argentina, even though they didn't win, it was one match for the decade. So here's the debate. Which of the teams is the most dangerous right now? Who has impressed you the most? And who has the best chance to lift the trophy? The teams remaining, just for the fellas, are France, Morocco, Spain, Belgium, England, Norway, Argentina, or Switzerland.
I like France. And I have no real reason to like France. But parlez-vous français? Comment allez-vous? Ça va? Comme ci, comme ça. Right? It could be just that I took a little bit of French in the back of the day.
Oh God.
I know just enough to impress the girl. I don't really know French anymore.
Je ne comprends pas.
Je
Je ne comprends pas
Michelle,
français.
right? But I like French. I like France because I think that they have an easier draw than some of the others. I also think that they haven't been challenged really from what I'm seeing there as far as the scores and the highlights and etc. They seem like they're a really complete team. I don't really believe in the Swiss this year as much as I probably should. I don't believe in Argentina this year either, not to win it all. The teams that they struggled with, they struggled multiple times. I think it's because they're defending champions or they're getting the best shot because they got Messi and all the stuff, but they look vulnerable. They look like OKC did this past season when they were playing against the Spurs, like and playing all season. Where like you're like this is a good team, but are they a championship team? I don't know. I don't think so. Just like OKC, I didn't think they would be a champion. I thought they were going to beat the Spurs, but I didn't think they'd win at all. But that's kind of how they look. They kind of remind me. Argentina reminds me of either OKC, like a very talented team, it's deep overall, but just has holes, or probably honestly even more like I don't know. They remind me maybe even more so of the Philadelphia 76ers, where they have a lot of stars and a lot of star power, but I don't know if they can pull it together when it matters this year, right? I think the OKC example may be better because they have won before and Philly hasn't won anything. But I think that the reference is still the same, where you fill the stars, right? You have a deep bench, you have good coaching, you have all the pieces that you think that you want. But when it comes to the actual game, if you're watching the games, they are not dominating. They are not going BTA, you know? It's not like that year when Germany won five, or I think Germany had a game, they won 6-0 in the World Cup a few years ago, which is wild in soccer, you know? As we're learning. But I think that France, for some reason, just looks like a complete team to me, and they look like a team to beat. So I'm going to go with France. I have no rhyme or reason for it. Like I mentioned, my initial bet was on Mexico, just because I like Mexican food. But again, it's because I don't watch enough soccer to have a good opinion. But just based on everything I've seen so far, I'm going to go with France.
I'm gonna keep it as short as sweet. Argentina, I think, is gonna take it just because they had the best kicker in the game, the best player in the game. But to your point, they remind me more Argentina of the 2014 Miami Heat when they were trying to defend it against the Spurs. Like they had a couple of struggles in the playoffs, but they were able to make it to the big dance, the big game. But who knows if they'll overcome all the adversity they need to in order to win it again. But I think it's Messi's to lose. So I'm gonna go Argentina.
I don't know. I think honestly, Spain is going to be the team to win it because Spain is battle tested. Like, and we talk about this all the time. Like when you talk about like getting up there, like we had this conversation about the Patriots, and even though they made it to the Super Bowl, they weren't battle tested. And Seattle really exposed that in the Super Bowl. So it's not necessarily what you did to get there, it's who you played to get there. And I think Spain had a much harder time to get there because of the competition they had to get there. So I think Spain has it. Like Argentina definitely has an argument because they were able to erase that 2-0 deficit. But I think Spain is overall going to be it. Because here's, let me pull up the matchups. Matter of fact, I don't think I looked at the matchups. Let me see what the matchups are. The matchups are you have France versus Morocco, Spain versus Belgium, Norway versus England, and Argentina versus Switzerland. So I do expect France to win the Morocco battle. Spain, of course, will edge out Belgium because, again, it will be battle tested. The Norway-England one is going to be a good match. Because England, I don't think either of them belong, but they're here. So
Norway's been looking good.
I don't know. Because the way Norway was looking, I don't know. I'm going to let them live. But we're going to see. Even though they knocked off Brazil, I don't I don't know. I think it's gonna be a good
Brazil
one.
is a big deal. in the
Knocking
World
off
Cup.
Brazil is a big deal, just like England knocking off what's it called is a big deal. England outlast Mexico. So that's
But
why
I think Brazil was a better team than Mexico.
granted, but still, I think like we didn't expect both of them to be here in this place. Like we both would have said Mexico and Brazil playing each other. Like we don't expect this matchup. So that's why I'm saying like this might be the matchup of the quarterfinals. And then Argentina should get out of this battle with Switzerland. Like Argentina shouldn't lose more. They shouldn't lose until they get to top 4. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, like just like Jordan said, it's Messi's to lose, although France is heavily favored to win. Matter of fact, one of my coworkers is still rooting for France, even though she was mad that Ghana lost, and I told her Ghana was going to lose out. So it is what it is.
Her bet's Ghana.
No, her first bet was France, but she wanted to root for Ghana because, of course, Ghana made it. And I was like, don't hold too much stock in Ghana, but you do what you do. So, honestly, like I said, gotta definitely shout out Cape Verde because they definitely put their squad on the map. They had like a population of like 500,000.
It's not Cape Verde.
It's Cape Verde.
Cabo Verde.
Yeah. So that's definitely shout out to them. They definitely put their team and their country, and they did their country proud. I know they did. So let's go ahead and move on to something that we did last episode. And this is something that was brought back because a couple of comments was brought on it. And we actually made mention of this in the last episode, but we didn't really get the chance to talk on it and speak on it. So I wanted to give the fellas the opportunity to actually air it out. And this might ruffle a little bit of feathers or whatnot, but we're going to see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are stepping into the square circle for one of the greatest debates in wrestling history. Who is the greatest faction the WWE has ever seen? Factions.
DX.
So, was it the rebellious revolution of D-Generation X? The dominance of Evolution? The family dynasty of the bloodline? Or do you go old school with the Four Horsemen? Or the game-changing NWO? Some factions change championships, such as the APA. Others change the entire business, such as the Straight Edge Society. But only one can be called the greatest of all time. So here's the debate, fellas. What is your Mount Rushmore of factions in the WWE all time? And be ready to defend it.
Mount Rushmore in order?
No specific order.
No specific order.
So
if you wish to do it,
so it's 4, right? Okay.
4. So just to help you out,
easy.
So
I could give you
the choices.
I could give you. Hold on. I'm gonna get. I got the notes. I'm here to help you out as a moderator. I got y'all. Most decorated by championships. Number 1 is the Bloodline. Number 2 is Evolution. Number 3, D-Generation X. Number 4, the New Day. And number 5, the Judgment Day.
And then there's also the 4. You said the 4 Horsemen. There's also NWO. There's also.
Hold on, I got that for you.
What about the Shield?
They're not as far as decorated champions.
That
was the top 5. That was the top 5 most decorated champions. No, I was just giving notes. Yeah, I'm asking y'all who your list is, but I'm giving you extra notes.
Just giving you justification to try to make your argument easier.
Yeah. Now, the most influential, and I'm about to send this to y'all, so y'all don't have to do too much.
Don't worry, I already know the answer.
So,
I already know
most influential. Number 1, the Four Horsemen. Number 2, NWO. Number 3, D-Generation X. Number 4, the Bloodline. And number 5, Evolution. Now, as far as the Four Horsemen go, I'm going to go break it down bit by bit, just so you guys have that information. So, Four Horsemen. Key members are Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Ole Anderson, Barry Windham, Lex Luger, Sting briefly, Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko.
Oh, there's because there were two different groups of four horsemen you're mentioning.
Yeah.
The original four horsemen was much better than the second
So-
faction.
Funny enough, I just found out about Dean Malenko like 2 days ago. I didn't realize he listen. I didn't realize his technique was that great.
We might have to take a lap on that because of what was he looking at?
You've never till
Remember-
2 days ago, Dean Malenko.
2 days ago?
Yes, I watched it, and his submission holds are ruthless.
He's known
That's what
as
he was
one of the
known
most
for.
He's the man
technical.
of 1,000 volts. I heard it, yes, but I didn't realize how ruthless he was with it.
You forgot some of the Spanish factions too.
I have a couple of them up here. I don't know if they're up here or not.
It should be.
They might. No, they're not. They're not.
There was a couple of amazing ones.
Well,
Like Los, I mean, not the Guerreros. Are we?
Well, the Guerreros count.
the Guerreros technically count, but
Now the question is, when you say faction, is that tag teams or is that what counts as
groups,
faction?
groups, like actual
More
groups.
than two.
So more than 2.
And just for the record, they're not going to carry me like that. I didn't know about Demon Lego like that. Do not judge me. Don't.
Nah, we carrying you. Nah, we carrying you.
Don't.
Bro,
You didn't know D.
I'm about to start
Malenko.
putting out other people that you probably don't know this.
So
Did you ever see the Ultimate Warrior?
hold on. Now you carrying this, man. That's the carry right
See, yes,
there. You gotta be stupid.
Did you ever see Sid Vicious?
Sid Vicious. What Psycho said? That's the same person.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, cool. Do you know who the Brood is?
What Brutus? What BP? That's the same person.
No, the Brood.
Hold on.
That's a faction.
Let me get to this,
See,
and then I'm gonna
ignore-
let you lose.
Ignore what he just asked.
Let me get to the rest of
Let's
this.
get back to the topic.
NWO. You have because of course there's 2 NWOs, so be
The
specific.
Wolfpack
So you have
or White.
key members of the NWO as an entirety.
Oh,
You can break it
between
up into-
both. Oh, that's gonna be the greatest faction easily. Between
So
both.
Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Six, who is X-Pac, Randy Savage, Big Show, who is known as the Giant, Scott Steiner, Kurt Hennig, Buff Bagwell, Eric
Easy.
Bischoff.
Easily the greatest faction.
Then there comes D-Generation X. Y'all know it. Say it with me. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, China. It was Triple X what they were doing. China, X-Pac, Road Dogg, the badass Billy Gunn,
China?
and Rick Rude.
and China.
I say China. You won't listen.
Probably.
Then you have the Bloodline, who is Roman Reigns. Acknowledge me. The Usos, Jimmy and Jay. Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman, who is the Wise Man. Sami Zayn, Honorary Us. Jacob,
Champion.
no.
He just lost again?
Yes.
Yes.
That quickly?
We gonna get into that in a
After
second.
35 seconds.
Less than that. It was like 10.
Oh my
I thought it
goodness.
was 3.
Hey, that might be the same thing.
Worked so hard to get that.
Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa.
Fuck, you just putting Samoans in there that won't even.
Well, you gotta understand it was 2 bloodlines. So you gotta understand it was the bloodline that Roman created, and then the bloodline after he left that Solo Sikoa made. Next is Evolution. Triple H, Ric Flair, Batista, and Randy Orton, who arguably could have been known as the 3rd, 4th horseman, but we're not gonna get too much into that. Then you have the Shield, which is Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. Then you have the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart, Owen Hart,
The British Bulldog.
the British Bulldog, Brian Pillman, and Jim Cornette.
Yeah, they were all
Then you
talented.
have the corporation,
Mm.
Vince McMahon, The
Mm.
Rock, Shane McMahon, the big boss man, Kane, Tess, Ken Shamrock, The Big Show, and Triple H, briefly. Then you have the Ministry of Darkness,
Mm.
which is The Undertaker, Bradshaw, who is JBL, Farouk, Midian, Viscera.
Wasn't that the Brood too?
I think so.
They were like transitioning from.
Transitional.
I remember them.
Gangrel, Edge, and Christian, briefly. Then you have the Judgment Day. Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, JD Madunga, who we don't care about, and Carlito, who is an associate of the Judgment Day. Then you have the Dangerous Alliance. Paul E. Dangerously, Rick Rude, Steve Austin, before he became Stone Cold, Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, Larry Zabisco, and Medusa. Then you have Legacy, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase Jr. Then you have the New Day, Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods. Then you have Imperium, Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci, Alexander Wolf. And for those that don't know, NXT British version, the UK version. Last but not least, heading off just this list is the Nation of Domination. Farouk, The Rock, D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry, Kama Mustafa, also known as the Godfather, and Owen Hart, who was an associate of the Nation of Domination. So, Mike, as the resident 80s and 90s legend, I will let you start this one off.
All right. So you mentioned some fun names, right? And shouts to all the factions for being factions in the first place. It was difficult to be a faction in the WWE, especially WWF as well, NWO, I'm sorry, TNA, all the other ones. It's difficult to be a faction. Now, we are asking Mount Rushmore, or are we asking who's the best?
Mount Rushmore first.
So Mount Rushmore first. NWO, I'll do it in order to make it easy for you. NWO is by far the number one because of the amount of champions they had, the amount of winners they had, the impact they had. The fact that you combine red and white for NWO makes it unequivocally, easily number one. Now, most times you would separate red and white, in which case you have a much different conversation. Because some people that weren't mentioned in that NWO was K-Dog, right? Also known as Conan, which is the one for Woo, Woo, Sting, also not mentioned in there. Then you also had flipping Razor Ramon was part of
Razor Ramon.
RIP to Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon was part of NWO Red, right? It was fantastic writing. That one thing was fantastic, and then they started regurgitating it and making it too basic, and it was kind of too predictable there. But they had Bret Hart was part of NWO for a while there, right? He was part of NWO White. NWO was just too deep. It was pretty much all of WCW was at one point. Anybody that mattered in WCW was at one point part of NWO. Now, as a result, that makes NWO unequivocally number one because it just had so many studs that were there. Anytime that you could put Hulk Hogan, The Big Show, Kevin Nash, Sting, Ric Flair in the same conversation, it's unbeatable. It's impossible to beat that. Okay. Number two, though, is DX for multiple reasons. One, because the impact is still prevalent today. Two, they had 16-time champion Shawn Michaels, who's one of the greatest, if not the most talented wrestler of all time. Then you had Triple H in there. You had X-Pac in there. You had the badass Billy Gunn. You had the Road Dogg Jesse James, the tag team champions. You had the first women's intercontinental champion ever in China.
Only?
I think only. I know first, but I think only. So my point is that the impact that they have, we're still doing this right now to this day, right? So and we still are excited about them. If their music came on right now, we'd all be excited. So DX is number two on that list. Number three for me, and this is just more of a for me thing. I don't think this is actually accurate on my list, but for number three for me is the Nation of Domination. Not because when they were wrestling as a faction, they weren't really that dominant, right? They were interesting, but they brought back kind of the black movement there. And you have to think of the careers that spanned as a result of that. The Rock came from Nation of Domination. Farouk, who was the first black heavyweight champion ever, was actually Farouk. And he was part of the Nation of Domination. D'Lo Brown was part of the Nation of Domination. People forget D'Lo Brown was actually a dope wrestler. He was a high flyer, even though he was a big guy. He was actually pretty dope as a wrestler. But just the Rock's career alone spans and beats most of the other factions by itself. And then Farouk as the first world champion, to me, puts that at a higher tier than it would regularly be. They probably honestly deserve to be fifth, but for the sake of the impact that they had, culturally speaking, they're going to be third on my list. Now, number four is going to be controversial for me. Number four would be the Four Horsemen. It should be the Four Horsemen. The reason I'm not making it the Four Horsemen is because I already have Ric Flair in another group with the NWO. So I can't almost duplicate him and give the accolades again for the same person because he was in another faction already. So for me, number 4 is going to be the Hart Foundation. Bret Hart was also in the NWO, and I understand that she used the same argument, but the Hart Foundation stood on its own. He was more famous for the Hart Foundation than he was for ever being NWO. Ric Flair was more famous than the Four Horsemen, but Ric Flair's solo career actually superseded the Four Horsemen. Arn Anderson was great, but Ric Flair was the face of the Four Horsemen. And then I also think about honorable mention to the group that you mentioned there with the Undertaker. Undertaker's probably the GOAT in regards to career behind Ric Flair to me. And if not above Ric Flair's, he's really high up there. What I actually think about though is you forgot one with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. What was their name of their faction? Didn't they have a faction?
They didn't have a faction.
I thought they had a group of people that were like all over.
There was no group. It wasn't. It was just Brock Lesnar.
Brock, right?
It was a Brock.
He was that dominant.
So here's the thing.
No, you could consider them two a faction by themselves.
No, you can, but Paul Heyman didn't wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Paul Heyman's been a part of so much.
Right.
But I think his biggest contribution has been the bloodline so far. Like that's his biggest contribution. He's actually been
Brock Lesnar was actually even bigger than the bloodline, to be honest.
But that's singles though.
Brock Lesnar destroyed careers.
Brock Lesnar was Goldberg. Brock Lesnar was who Goldberg was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because Brock Lesnar could actually wrestle, but he had the hype around him like Goldberg. I don't know if you guys remember the streak. I happen to be alive watching wrestling during the streak.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
No, you talking about Goldberg streak.
Goldberg streak.
Goldberg.
Like 153 in a row, I think is the number.
I thought it was 70 something. What 70
No,
something?
it wasn't 70. It was at least 150 in a row. He was injuring people. That's not the great part, but he won 153 in a row at least.
Yeah, 173 and 0.
173 and 0.
Yeah, I thought it was.
That's a streak. That is a streak. 173 and 0. I don't care the hype train that you put on somebody. I don't care that it's predictable. I don't care that you know that they're going to win. I don't care what's going on. You had to have done a lot for the people to care enough about your streak that you won 173 matches in a row. It was so much crazy with freak that they came out with a parody character known as Gilbert just to lose 173 in a row.
Yeah, I remember.
Because it was that bad, right? So my point of saying that is, had Goldberg been in any of these factions, the faction would have been over, right? Had Brock Lesnar been in any of these factions, the faction would have been put over the top, right? Because both of them had done that same level of impact. But when I think about, and the corporation honestly had a lot of studs too. So the Evolution, I'm giving shouts and credits to them. But when I think of the 4, NWO by far is the number one. They're number 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1. They're number 1 by far. It's not even close. Okay. Then, as we talk about the rest of them, that's when it really comes into me. I put shouts to the Shield, but I don't think the Shield did enough collectively or even individually to be in the conversation with NWO or to be in the conversation with DX. DX, Shawn Michaels is again one of the most talented of all time. But then you also have Triple H, also have Baddest Women. Like I get excited just thinking about DX to this day. Matter of fact, that reminds me, I need to order a DX shirt.
Which reminds me, we haven't mentioned this, and I'm so sorry. I'd like to apologize to the camera crew, but camera crew, we gotta look over to this man. It is going to be this young man's 37th birthday tomorrow, so we like to wish this man a happy early birthday. We hope you enjoy. Hope you have a great 37th birthday. I know it ain't 37.
Yeah, getting old today.
Yeah, you're getting old out there. So happy birthday. I just wanted to make that shout out, So hopefully for those in the comments, please make sure y'all wish Mike a happy birthday. You can put it in the comment section. Just make sure y'all label it and say happy birthday, Mike. And we can just keep that going. Now, were you ready or you want me to go?
I could go. I'll be quick. So based off of what I watched wrestling wise, no specific order. I mean, NWO, of course, they were revolutionary in how they changed the game, especially from like WWF, WCW into WWE. DX, if DX is not in your list, I don't know if you even watch wrestling like that. Based off of how they just retail wherever they went, but also just made wrestling fun to watch. And individually, each of those wrestlers had some great careers. The Shield is up there in that Mount Rushmore only because they may not have had the decorated title runs. I mean, like Roman Reigns is the guy, but as far as a like you said, change of the guard when you were talking about soccer, they were the change of the guard in the WWE because they were what the Nexus was supposed to be. If everybody remembers that Raw Monday night when John Cena got ambushed by those Nexus wrestlers, that the Shield, that was what the Shield was supposed to be. The next big thing, the next group of wrestlers that as a faction just changed everything. You can't go anywhere in WWE without mentioning any of those three. And that's what they did. Like even when things looked bleak, they still found a way to help each other win. And individually, they've had some very interesting careers. Like Seth Rollins is still that wild card. Like you can never really count him out of a match. Roman Reigns is self-explanatory. Dean Ambrose, I mean John Moxley, whichever way you want to call him, he's made his rounds. And I believe they each held the WWE Championship or World Heavyweight Championship at least once in their career.
All three have.
All three have.
So, all three have.
All three have. So even Dean Ambrose, yes. So
all three have.
That's why I consider them in that. Because like I don't think it's a thing where you hear that walkie-talkie in the background, you're like, damn, they're here. And then to kind of round things out, I know I can't use the same person in two factions, can I?
You can. If they honestly in your Mount Rushmore, do you feel that Rushmore? Way?
Well, I'm gonna do a tie. Bloodline and Evolution. Bloodline because they're currently how they are now, family wise. I mean, they come from that Anoa'i tree, so they're forever going to be famous. They're forever going to be in WWE's bloodline. No pun intended. But also Evolution because of how in the 2000s they really ran
99 and 2000s.
Yeah, they ran the WWE. That you couldn't see any match.
Who ran the WWE?
Well, Evolution in the early 2000s, yes,
but in like 2 years maybe.
Well, still, individually, they still ran.
If that.
No, they had two.
They had studs.
They had two.
I wouldn't give them past the 2-year run as far as
even though young legend killer Randy Orton had his time.
But Randy Orton wasn't as great in Evolution as he was.
I know,
but here's the knock.
He was better after Evolution.
Here's the knock that we have. Like when you talk greatest faction
ever,
you got to remember also they impacted singles division as well.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the problem with Evolution that I have, and a lot of fans will recognize this. The problem was they ran into John Cena in his prime. And John Cena was running.
He ran into
all of them. He ran into all of them.
They ran into the imaginary wrestler.
Who's
that?
Look, they found out. They found out. Because at the end of the day, like when you talk greatest factions, like even singles wrestlers couldn't even do it. So say like when it came to
Mike Without too.
It's Cena.
I don't know if he's better than Taker though. Or Ric Flair to me.
Nah. See, here's the problem.
Cena beat Ric Flair's right?
No. Stick to the topic. Stick to the topic of the head. Stick to the topic of the head. We talking factions right now. We can get to the greatest singles wrestler in a moment, but stick to the topic of the head. But what I was saying was the fact is when Evolution would run into John Cena was kicking their ass from the east and the west. They could see John Cena because he was delivering F bombs to all of them. Like, I'm sorry. And John Cena had multiple personas he was whooping them with. Thug Life? Come on, bro. Thugonomics?
You can't see me.
Bro, when Thugonomics dropped, bro, y'all won't touching John Cena then. Evolution was not touching. Yes, they were not touching that man. So, I was just wanting to make sure you were done though.
Oh no, but pretty much Bloodline and Evolution, just because of how decorated Evolution was, like all those alone. Like I said in the previous episode, you're looking at least 40 world championships altogether combined. At least 40 world.
The four horsemen are more than that.
No.
Isn't it?
No.
Arn Anderson
Bloodline's number one.
as they have the most.
That's the most.
World
They are
championships
deep.
altogether.
They're not bigger than
Well,
they have more than
oh.
NWO.
Ooh, that's evolution.
Hold on.
They don't have more than NWO. NWO have more than all of them because they had everybody.
Because I'm thinking
They had
at least 45,
everybody.
at least 45 world titles combined in evolution.
Hold on. I'm about to pull it right
NWO
now.
is
I'm
by
pulling
far
it
the
right
most.
now. Evolution is one.
Not over NWO.
Most world championships.
I don't think NWO is considered.
NWO is second. Four Horsemen is third. Because the count is Evolution is
So wait,
50.
are they counting red and white
50,
NWO?
told you. That's at least 45.
Yeah. They got 50. Because understand, Ric Flair and Triple H by themselves is 30.
That's in the. Oh, they're part of the evolution as well.
Yeah.
So they're counting them in NWO and in because Triple H wasn't part of NWO.
Yeah. Triple H
But
wasn't part
with
of it.
NWO, are they counting red and white NWO?
I think they are. They
Because
got.
they have Ric Flair, they have Sting, they have Hulk Hogan.
I don't think they're counting Sting
Because Sting was part of NWO.
briefly, but
And
they
then
didn't count.
Bret Hart was also part of NWO shortly. And then also Sting was a big part of NWO, so it doesn't make sense that he's not part of it. He was part of he's actually switched from
I
right
know.
away. Then they also had the Big Show, who has a bunch of titles. Then they also had wasn't I thought Booker T might have been part of NWO at one point even. And then they had Kevin Nash, who was part of NWO. They had there's no way that they'd have less than 45 with all of NWO.
Yeah, but
Red
they
and
had.
white. They may count it now. If they probably separated in this count. I know if I look online, they probably put red and then white separate.
They probably
But if you did it
did.
together, they're more. Than
It's probably
Evolution.
NWO altogether.
Just because it's so big.
Yeah. So I think they split the brands as far
Yeah,
as
they
that.
had.
But they got top five is Evolution, NWO, Four Horsemen, Shield, and the Undisputed Era.
Well, I knew that.
How many you sure?
Shield is like, I think they were sitting at 20 plus or something like that. I
Ric
don't
Flair
know.
by himself is a 16-time.
Yeah, Ric Flair by
Well,
himself
yeah.
is 16.
So
So
it's incredible that the Shield just by themselves at least close to 30.
so, I mean, you got to understand, Seth. It's Seth, Roman,
It's three.
and
It's just them three though.
but they like. I get where you're saying, and they were dominant, but also the knock against them is the
They lost a
same
lot.
thing. They lost a lot
This is
too,
why they had so many titles.
but also it was because you ran into John Cena in his prime, you ran into CM Punk in his prime, you ran into
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar in his prime. So you ran into a lot of wrestlers in their prime, and when they wanted that gold gone, that was gone.
I think people kind of forget. They see over Femi and Brock Lesnar now, but they forget how fearful it was when you heard his theme music come and you heard nothing. Or you just saw him come down the ring, do an F5 multiple
Hey,
times,
just walk off.
walk off, or like 3 German suplexes, and then just
Suplex
walk off.
City.
I'll tell you though, this is somebody that watched a lot of wrestling. The scariest one was not Brock Lesnar's. The scariest one coming out was the Undertaker out of nowhere because he would pop up.
Yes,
in
yes, he
the
would.
middle of the ring
Yes,
out
he
of
would.
nowhere. Like you'd be like,
It don't matter.
dead man walking. You'd be like, nah, he's not here. You turn around. Oh shit, he's in the ring. How did he get here?
Bro,
He was
Yeah.
crazy.
them lights just go out. You hear that gong sound. Oh,
And he was supposed to keep rolling.
oh, American Badass. Oh my goodness, y'all don't understand.
Taker was fun.
That was the craziest part about that persona that he played because he didn't have to pop up. Bro rolled through in a motorcycle. You knew he was coming, and he still kicked your ass. Like that's the crazy part.
One of my favorite Undertaker pop-ups was, I think it was The Rock, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, and the Undertaker. Because he was retired at this point, but still, the way he popped out of nowhere and chokeslammed The Rock, I was like,
The greatest one belongs when he popped up on Randy Orton. After Randy drove that car into that what's it called with the Undertaker inside. And Randy was celebrating. I got rid of the Undertaker. Yeah, celebration time, me. And then you hear that gong drop.
No. Both of you are incorrect. The best Undertaker that ever happened was actually when he had the cemetery match or the what do they call it? The graveyard match. Whatever.
Graveyard match?
That's when they used to put people into the coffin.
Yeah.
So he had a coffin match with Kane,
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
and they set the coffin on fire. That was by far
Oh yeah, because then they put the coffin up there at the top of the joint, at the top of the ramp, and bro just kicked out of there.
Best one ever. And he kicked out, and then you put Kane in it, and then it was over. Like it was Taker was wild, man. And then Paul Bearer would be like, he would like Taker would be out. Paul Bearer grab this urn. It would be crazy. And next thing you know, Taker would just pop the fuck out. You're like, this nigga's possessed. Especially in the 90s, we didn't have all the cool stuff. We didn't have all the AI and all that.
But
that needs to be a whole different topic.
let me get into my Mount Rushmore because I'm gonna piss Mike off real quick.
That's good tell.
I'm here to piss Mike off. I'm just letting y'all know if he don't win Crash King for this, I promise you, his rant is about to be crazy. Because number one on the list is D-Generation X. That's number one on the list. And here's the reason why. Now, I don't put disrespect on NWO. And NWO, especially with the red and white brand, arguably is the greatest faction out there. However, the impact that D-Generation X has was much greater than NWO. Their impact is much greater. You have kids now that are being brought up now in the age of iPads, in the age of cell phones, in the age of having laptops and screens and all this stuff in front of them, still watching D-Generation X, still doing the suck it sign, and still doing all the stuff. You understand. Like one of the greatest things that we have all seen, well, I know I have ever seen, being from Virginia, is watching when D-Generation X took a tank in Norfolk, Virginia, and drove that bitch all the way around the Scope Arena and took over Norfolk. One of the greatest things I've ever seen. I'm sorry. When I say D-Generation X broke ceilings that you never thought was possible and probably will never happen again. Like I said, the risk that D-Generation X took was one of the greatest things ever for wrestling. Because again, not only it broke the ceiling as far as where the line was, they crossed plenty of lines. But the impact, the long-lasting impact is great. If you ask a wrestler, if you ask a WWE fan to name their a faction, more times than not, you're going to hear D-Generation X, the Shield, and the Bloodline. Probably D-Generation X first, the Bloodline. If they're younger, they'll probably say the Bloodline, D-Generation X. Either way. But D-Generation X had the best impact. And understand, they also had one of the best popularities out there. Because we talked about this in the earlier episode, that they catapulted the Attitude Era. That's what pulled more people in. Now, NWO, with no disrespect, held that together during the 90s. They did what they did for WCW. And it was like 90. It was like 99. Because keep in mind, Four Horsemen was like 80s.
Yeah.
NWO
70s.
was like 90.
Actually, Four Horsemen was in the 70s through the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Then DX came around in the end of the 90s and the 2000s for the start of the Attitude Era when they switched from WWF to WWE.
Yeah.
Right. And then you had there was another faction in between that as well.
I don't remember that faction.
Well, Bret Hart.
The Hart Foundation, I think.
Between that, right?
But either way, getting to the next on the list. Number 2 is the Four Horsemen. Because obviously
both of those over NWO.
Over NWO.
This is ridiculous.
Over NWO.
You might as well just invalidate his entire.
Because again, they
are 2 over.
I'm
NWO.
sorry, the NWO is responsible for the WWF collapsing. I'm sorry.
That's why they're so impactful.
Whom did he put over NWO?
The Four Horsemen.
And DX over NWO. Do you know how deep
D-Generation X won.
Members of NWO.
I'm sorry, what?
Name the members of the NWO.
Ric Flair.
Okay, so Ric Flair was also part of the Four Horsemen. So how are you going to immediately eliminate NWO with Ric Flair.
Because he
four.
joined in just so that
Okay,
because
so
the
Ric
writers
Flair-
didn't know what they were doing. We
Come on.
said this.
Ric Flair and give me the next one.
Arn Anderson.
Part of NWO.
Oh, NWO, Hulk Hogan.
Perfect. So you have Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan, and you're telling me that DX
I'm
and
sorry.
the Four Horsemen are better
I
than
put
the two most iconic wrestlers in the history of
I
wrestling.
put the knock on the WWF failing
Wait, time out.
on the
Time out.
NWO.
Go to the third person in the NWO.
Oh, third person is in the third person.
Sting. Perfect. Fourth person.
I was gonna say Kevin
Big
Nash,
Show.
Scott
Fifth
Hall,
person.
Big Show.
Scott Hall. Sixth person. There's no way that you can put all of these
I
people
said what I
and
said.
put the Four
I
Horsemen.
said what I
over them.
said.
I could accept DX, but NWO.
I said what I said.
over the Four Horsemen over them.
I'm sorry. Did
Okay.
the WWE fell
Where's
with the Four
Where's the
Horsemen?
phrase that? Defend that. Tell me how the Four Horsemen
Sorry, again, the
over
list is right
NWO.
because the Four Horsemen were the standard for WCW. Yes, there was a change of the guard with NWO, but again, just like you said, there were two NWOs. There was the red and the white brand. Now, again, Four Horsemen did have two, but again, the Four Horsemen created the standard for the WCW. And unfortunately, because the writers sucked for the NWO, that's why the WWF failed. I'm sorry, which faction was active when the WWF failed? I will wait.
That's a good point. So they were so impactful that they made the greatest wrestling organization in the world have to scrounge the bottom of the barrel and start putting clowns up there literally and have Bam Bam Bigelow as if he was a headliner because the NWO was that impactful. Yet you're telling me that they're behind DX, they're behind the Four Horsemen. You're gonna put next thing we know, you're gonna put them behind Evolution or something.
No, I got NWO third. I got NWO third.
How?
Because
every superstar
I'm sorry.
of the WCW.
Again, we cannot forgive the WWF
So wait.
failing under their watch.
You're penalizing.
Yes.
The NWO for the WWF failing, even though the NWO wasn't even part of the WWF. They were part of the WCW.
I'm sorry, the
This is
WCW
ridiculous.
failing.
This is
They were
ridiculous.
part of
It
WCW.
validates
failing.
everything he said. This is why
I'm
you know
sorry.
he's an Eagles fan.
They was
This
part.
is
Don't do that.
It
Don't
make
do that.
any sense. Might as well be a Bama fan.
It was
You
the
need to
same
don't
thing.
make
They were
any
part of the
sense about it.
WCW
That's all
failing.
I'm trying to tell you.
The WCW failed because of them.
The
Now,
WCW
a lot of
fell
the-
because of the NWO.
Okay.
The WCW fell in spite of the NWO. The NWO was the only thing they had going. They had nothing else. They had no story. They had Booker T and the NWO. That was it. There was no other wrestlers. The whole faction was the whole WCW.
And that was
That's
the
why
problem.
the NWO was so great.
And that is the problem. You had 70% that was in the NWO
Right.
with
And
nobody
yet,
else.
You're telling me that the Four Horsemen are better.
Yes, because the WCW didn't
Guess
fail
what?
at them.
Guess what? When the Four Horsemen was around, the WWF's ratings were lower than they had ever been.
No, they dominated in the 80s. You got to remember that. And again,
No, actually,
the
they
Four
had,
Horsemen-
they had a rival. They had a rival company that they bought so that they could be dominant. They, in fact, weren't dominant when WWE was going out. WWF was initially coming out. They had to buy
the
in
NWA. I know.
to it. The NWA was dominating them, and Japanese wrestling was
Oh
dominating
yeah,
them
Japanese
as well.
wrestling was.
And then the Mexican wrestling with the luchadors was dominating the WWF. What made the WWF popular was actually Hulk Hogan, who was part of the NWO. First off,
I'm trying to hear all of that. Like I
let's
said,
put the facts
I'm
to the
putting
facts.
them
This is
failures
ridiculous.
on the NWO. That's why WCW failed, and that's why they're third on that list.
This is a faulty.
That's what I'm
vote
putting
and
up
list.
there. You
Do
can
not
feel how you
believe.
feel. You feel how you feel. It's okay.
In
We're
the
gonna get you
comments-
4 in a
In
row.
the comments, tell us who's walling out. It should NWO be number 3 on the Mount Rushmore of greatest of all time? Because mind you, we're doing it in order. Or am I correct? The NWO should easily be number
like
1
I
on
said.
that list purely because of numbers. Even if we're not talking impact.
You put the entire roster on NWO. Of course, you can be one of the greatest of all time. Imagine putting the entire roster up there. That's like saying,
That's like-
hey, we're gonna put Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, we're gonna bring Dean Ambrose back, put him up there, then unretired John Cena, put him back, Then put Undertaker, Brock Lesnar,
Yeah.
over Finn.
That's exactly what NWO
No,
did.
we're not doing that.
They were the Golden State Warriors of wrestling with Kevin Durant. That's who they were. They were OP. That's exactly who the NWO
No, that's why
was.
they have to take the nod because
No,
you couldn't create anything else.
You can't diminish them for being
You can't
so
create anything.
amazing.
Listen,
They were so
if
amazing.
we were
They
talking,
recruited referees. They were so amazing. Okay? They recruited owners, referees, writers. Okay,
No.
just in one
No.
faction.
no, we're not doing this.
The
Again,
fans. They recruited fans. They were like, you want to be part of the NWO. You want to be part of the
yeah,
NWO.
take a shirt. You're an
They
NWO.
were the Oprah of the world.
You
You get an NWO.
get
Part
an
of the
NWO.
NWO.
You
Part of
get
the- That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, we're not trying to hear that. No, not at all. No. Just because you recruit, yes,
No.
because you don't have to recruit everybody and their mama, their grandmama,
Other
their
than
aunt,
Ric Flair
and
and
uncle.
Arn Anderson, you didn't know who any of these people were until you.
First of all, Lex Luger.
Lex,
Knew who Lex
Lex
Luger
Luger.
were.
Guess what?
Chris
Lex-
Benoit was in there.
Guess who Lex Luger was also part of? The NWO. Guess who Chris Benoit was also part of? The NWO. Oh, all right.
But guess who was it? Dave Lincoln. Oh, I.
Actually, he was. He was the man. NWO was the whole roster. I'm trying to tell
No,
you.
that's not a problem. You have to penalize. Like you can't just all of a sudden say, "Well, he ain't got nothing to do. We'll make him NWO." Like
That's
no,
exactly what they did.
no, we no. You have to make.
I
There
think
has
the
to
Pope
be.
was honorary NWO
You
for a while
gotta
there.
relax, bro. You gotta relax.
Barack Obama was part of the NWO. I don't know if you know this.
No, Barack Obama was part of Nation of Domination. No, we're not doing that.
Right, then we adopted him through justification into the NWO. It's immediate.
Not doing it. Either way. Like I said, number 1 is DX. Number 2, Four Horsemen. Number 3 is NWO. Number 4 is the Bloodline. I'm sorry, in modern day, there's not a single faction that you can argue is better than the Bloodline. You cannot. Because just like Generation X, if you mess with Roman, the Usos are coming out. If you mess with any of the Usos, Roman's coming out. The Wise Man's coming out. Sammy's coming out. So I'm sorry, like the Bloodline was just that dominant.
Gonna be petty about that.
And again, you also got to understand, they took out a very good Randy Orton and Riddle comedy. RK Bro. I'm sorry. RK Bro was a very good tag team. And if it wasn't for Randy Orton's back giving out, they would still have held those tag team championships. So I'm sorry. Bloodline is going to be the one that solidifies that number 4 spot. Because yes, while Evolution is a good one, the Shield is good, but understand, Dean Ambrose left. Seth Rollins left, made the Vision, and the Vision didn't really do too much. The Corporation Part 2 didn't do too much. Like Corporation was all right. Like the Vince McMahon version of the Corporation was all right. Because that feud with Linda McMahon, oh my goodness. You talk about a woman scoring. That was wild in itself and could get to number 4. Heart Foundation, that's with it's no disrespect to the Heart Foundation. No disrespect to Ministry of Darkness. Judgment Day can't touch this list at all. I'm sorry. If you have a Mount Rushmore with the Judgment Day up there, I'm sorry. We will be invalidating that one. I know we're supposed to be all inclusive. It won't be. I'm sorry. If you have an argument to say that the Judgment Day belongs in the top 4, I'm sorry. Cut that. No. Dangerous Alliance with no disrespect. Legacy, no, not at all. I'm sorry. It did help start Cody Rhodes' career, but no, it didn't have the impact that needed to have. New Day has an argument, but I'm sorry. A lot of those championship runs were not dominant. Like you had Kofi Kingston get one and it was very well deserved. We here for you. But I'm sorry. It just the impact. You had Kofi losing like 13 seconds to Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry. Imperium, no, it was carried by Gunther. Nation and Domination, that is where the biggest argument comes in. And arguably, if I didn't put the bloodline in number 4, I put the Nation of Domination in there because that impact is good. You had, of course, Farouk being the, like Mike said, Farouk was the number 1. He was the first Black world heavyweight champion. It did pave the way for The Rock. Mark Henry, of course, he came back with the world's strongest man. D'Lo Brown.
Mark Henry was in there.
What people don't understand about D'Lo Brown, he's still working at the training center, training the next up and coming generation. So
D'Lo Brown.
Yo, shouts to D'Lo Brown for that. Like D'Lo Brown is still working.
Was like,
yeah, D'Lo Brown. If you don't understand how good,
still gotta hurt.
Y'all gotta understand how good D'Lo Brown is, and if you don't know, go look him up. We not here. It may be Teach 'em Tuesday, but not in this Squad Sport chat. We not doing that here. But yeah, but let us know in the comment section who you think have the best list out here. Is it gonna be Mike with the history, Jordan with the recency, or is it myself with the impact? Let us know in the comment section. Who do you think has the best list out there? Let us know in the comment section now. For our final topic for this evening, we have a WNBA fallout here. We have some breaking news from a couple hours ago. The Las Vegas Aces have waived Chennedy Carter, one of the league's most explosive scorers off the bench, and a player averaging 12.2 points per game, shooting an incredible 60% from the field and 52% from the three in very limited action from this season. Comes from a shop looking like she was going to be a leading candidate for the 6th Player of the Year. However, she has struggled to find home in the WNBA as she was once suspended from the Dream in 2021 for some conduct detrimental to the team, and also benched while in her stint with the Los Angeles Sparks. So the question is for the fellas, which team could be in use for her services, or has her locker room drama blackballed her out the league?
I think she's too talented to be blackballed out of the league. If Latrell Sprewell has a chance in the league, she's not about to be blackballed and sent out. The team that I think is about to get her is the New York Liberty. Because, one, they're over talented, but 2, they're trying to get over the hump known as the Las Vegas Aces. And in order to beat the Aces, you have to do some king type stuff. And what that means is that you need to get a player that can not only impact the game, but impact the locker room, impact the defense, impact the scoring, bring some toughness to them. The New York Liberty are literally like there's an element that they're away from winning a championship. It doesn't show up on the stat line. It's not rebounds, it's not points, it's not steals, it's not block, it's toughness. They're missing the element of toughness. She brings that in spades to them. I have the Las Vegas Aces being upset that the New York Liberty go ahead and get there.
So, just for the record, she was on a non-guaranteed contract, unprotected contract. So it's not that it was a surprise that she left. It was just that her productivity early on was a reason that the Aces looked like the biggest threat to anybody competing with them for the title. And I was kind of taken a bit back because I was like, I saw her and she was really going off. As far as the 6th woman coming off the bench, she's that one. But she had some injuries going over her leg, and her productivity also went down because of minutes. And you know, sometimes when minutes go down, your mind gets a bit iffy. And she expressed that to her teammates, and they didn't take well. Like they're kind of cutthroat, like the NFL. You say something crazy like that, they will cut you without a moment's notice. I mean, look what they're doing to Skylar Diggins out in Chicago. But we know the Chicago Sky had a bad organization to begin with. That's why Angel Reese left. But nonetheless, to kind of go off of what Mike was talking about, you know, as an agent of chaos, people know that I think Caitlin Clark has managed to help the WNBA advance to where they are right now. It's a catalyst. With that being said, I would like to be an agent of chaos and say that she should go. Kennedy Carter should go to the Atlanta Dream. Be that 6th Woman of the Year. Team up with Angel Reese and wreak some hell amongst them. They need a second punch anyway. off the bench when injuries can't shoot. So
Wait, you mean the whole game? But go ahead, sorry.
he said it. He said it, not me. I just want to make that clear because I've been getting destroyed by these three. Well, Marv's not here, but
Yeah, I'm about to say, don't put this
I'm
on
getting
me.
destroyed by them offense, and I'm trying to give them a compliment, trying to give them some fuel.
Hey, we keep this real out here. We don't miss the words.
I just wanted to make that abundantly clear. I'm giving them a recommendation. Dream.
They don't need another layup
Kennedy
warrior.
so that you can achieve your dream of winning a title.
I don't know.
They don't need another layup warrior. Sorry, I don't think they need shooting for the dream.
But she can shoot. She can score.
Yeah,
and
but you put her in the same conversation as Angel Reese.
Because they played on the same team, I think with their chemistry, they can lift the morale of that team and make them a bit better.
I thought you were saying you was gonna have Angel Reese shooting the ball. Okay,
we're not
saying that.
No, I was gonna say we not.
I never said.
I thought you said she was like a Steph Curry.
And I'm not hating when I say this. I never said in these 4 words in a complete sentence, Angel Reese can shoot. I never said that a day in my life.
What you just
no,
said?
we know you ain't said
I
that.
thought you said Angel Reese was the Steph Curry of the WNBA.
You got him. Go over there.
You need to take a lap.
Go.
It must be crack.
I ain't even give it to. I let you slide too much
Like,
already.
See, this is what I gotta do.
I let you go too much already. Here's where I think Kennedy Carter should go. Honestly, y'all might hate me for this, but honestly, I think she needs to go to the Indiana Fever. I think she needs to go give Caitlin Clark some help. We talked about this a whole lot. And while they're still top tier in points, I believe that if you have somebody with that toughness, we talked about toughness because, again, it's not one of those things that's out there. You got to have toughness. And I think she would be able to provide that toughness, especially for someone like Caitlin Clark, who needs a lesson in toughness. Why not get somebody, like, get a bad girl out there?
I'm talking about, I do think Caitlin Clark is tough. I think that she's being abused out there in the streets.
I don't.
You didn't see her get clothesline? Bro, they hit her with a JBL.
I
clothesline from hell.
I get it.
And then they're like, get up. And she's like,
my back. My knee. That's why I said if she's 6'5", she's gonna be punished out there. Because like I said, if she has heart, I don't think she has toughness. I do think she has heart though. Because for her to be second in points, second in minutes, like you have the heart to do it.
What are you talking about? Caitlin Clark?
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, she's 4th in scoring right now.
No. I'm talking second on her team.
Oh, okay.
Second on her team in points, second in minutes. So, like I said, you got the heart because you're there, you're playing, you're getting through the fouls, like you're getting through it all. But the problem is, it's the toughness that's there. Like you need somebody tough there. And part of it is, I don't think her teammates are being tough on her at all. Because it's like a culmination. I don't.
The coaches?
I don't.
The coaches?
I'm sorry. No, even with the coaches. Yes, I don't think so. I'm sorry. Yes. Because here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. Because again, to be number 1 in turnovers, you got to keep in mind that is a high feat to have. Like to be number 1 in turnovers and the second person not even be at least 1 turnover. Matter of fact, let's pull that up real quick. Turnover leader in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark at 4.6. Then you got Alyssa Thomas at 0.38. You almost got a full turnover between her and the next person. So again, and then for her not to have, like, I'm sorry, like this has to be addressed. Like you're playing too much hero ball. She needs somebody to be in her face, telling her what to do. She did a Jalen Carter at this point. Tell them what they're doing wrong.
Want a man at this point.
It might be.
My bad.
Might need it. Might need it. It might need it. I'm not gonna let you go to timeout for that one. That was earned. Like you might need it. I'm sorry.
We
like
got enough of those in the league already.
But we're not going
to. Brittany Griner may be one, but you gonna need a little more.
Brittany Griner. Have you seen Brittany Griner's wife?
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Bad. Shouts to Brittany Griner. She got a bad wife.
But still, like I said, like I think Chennedy Carter would help because again, it helps to have the number one is going to help have somebody out there who can be that tough person out there. Like, because I think honestly, I don't think her teammates are looking out for her. It's bad enough her coach ain't looking out for her and how they coaches. But I don't think her teammates are looking out for her as well. Because keep in mind, you just said she got a clothesline from hell, right? What did her teammates do?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. So they didn't do anything.
So
Like
I think
here's my thing. We give.
I think Sylvia Cunningham was doing this.
We
was
do
doing that.
It wouldn't happen if you had real teammates. You have real teammates. We ain't doing none of this. We ain't doing none of that because you're gonna be pushed. You're gonna be clotheslined yourself. Nah, you see it in the NBA. We got real teammates out here. Now you gonna clothesline me? Hey, bro, what are you doing, bro? Hey, look, the benches are out.
There's crash outs.
They're out. They're crash outs. Like you know this. Like, come on, bro. Like there's no way we didn't think for 1 second that she don't need that tough, like a tough person to be there and defend her teammate like that.
The best crash out person in the WNBA that I enjoy is Skylar Diggins because she's on go.
Oh, Skylar don't play no games.
Skylar's good.
Whenever
She don't play no games on that field.
Like
you won't see her on that court.
Like,
I promise you, she gonna lay you out more ways.
Let's say somebody try to hit her, she's scrapping straight. She don't care what time it is.
Skylar don't play.
But it's a shame how the Chicago Sky are doing her when she has all these injuries. They're not giving them the facilities that they need. And it's kind of sad because I really thought that with the initiative that Caitlin Clark was doing to help the WNBA get these amenities for all these teams, that the Sky would actually follow suit. But it looks like they're not. They're still supposed to be building a facility that hasn't been built. They're like the Dr. Umar of facilities. They say they're going to build something, but they don't.
They're there, but you got to understand, like, first of all, that they got to cover the women's salaries because that was the most important thing. And keep in mind,
she was promised that, though.
I get it. But again, you have to, the WNBA is catching up on salary-wise. Like, you've seen some of the contracts that are coming out now. So I can kind of understand why they haven't got the sports facility yet. Because at the end of the day, they've been getting the revenue, and we talked about them getting the revenue share. So now, hey, you've been getting the revenue share like we've been asking y'all. Here, take some of the cut. So then when more revenue starts coming in, which it is, then we can start working on facilities. We can work on like branching out so that way you're not competing with the NBA to get games out.
But this is not their first rodeo, though. The Sky has been notorious for not taking care of their players. And that's why a lot of players left and complain. I mean, they let go Coach Spoon. I mean, you let go one of the best point guards to ever play in the WNBA. I don't know what else to tell you.
What's her name?
Teresa Witherspoon.
Oh, yeah. That was a former NBA, former WNBA, right?
Yes.
She was a former player, right?
Yes. One of the
legends. Isn't she coaching now too?
I'm not sure, but
Taraji needs to coach.
But I just think
she's not going to
want the ball.
This is the same old.
I'm loving myself.
This is same old for Chicago Sky. I'm like,
don't play right now.
I don't blame Skylar for doing what she's doing and saying what she's saying. The Sky need to do better. Otherwise, they might find themselves losing a franchise.
We said that this was going to happen when Angel Reese got transferred out. When Angel Reese got traded out, we said that I said this was going to happen. I don't know if y'all agreed with it, but I said that they were going to be they were picking top 5 no matter what. They might be picking number 1. And the way this thing is looking, they're 6-14 right now. They're almost eliminated from postseason. But they got some time to turn some stuff around.
A lot of time before they're eliminated from postseason.
Not the way they looking.
I mean, just see Seattle and Connecticut. They're bad, but considering everybody else, they're looking horrible.
There's not too many teams that are doing worse than the Sky. Like the Storm, yes. Seattle, yes, and then the Sun, yes. That's it. Like I said, picking either number 1 or top 5. And I told y'all that. Told y'all Angel Reese was hoping that team as best as she could, but she needed help. And I told you the Dream was our best spot. And right now, it's folding out exactly what I'm saying. Now,
the
keep
Dream
in
like
mind.
number one right now.
Nah, they not.
Keep in mind,
They just went through a 5-game losing streak.
with all the conversation we've been having about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, the Fever have lost. Not the Fever, the Dream have lost 5 out of 6. But I haven't been saying anything. I've just been keeping an eye on the standings. And the Fever are up. The Fever are up a half a game, but still, it just doesn't look good for the Dream. They're looking. They might be on the outside looking in soon, but I'm just here.
I don't think so.
I'm just here as a guy watching it from time to time.
Out of the East, I don't think so.
Out of the playoffs, I'm looking at the standings.
Oh, that's right. They're just top 8 regardless.
Yes,
that's right. I keep forgetting
the
that.
Fever is 5th. The Dream is 7th. They lost 5 or 6 straight. You know that you lose 5 or 6 straight in the WNBA, that could really hurt you.
But I mean, let's look at who they lost to. You lost to the Vouts, who are arguably one of the great. Nah, you had the Storm blow you out. Nah, I don't know. But they played the Vouts they played the Vouts out of 3 of the 5 games. Come on, bro.
I mean, the games have been looking close.
Nah, we're not about to do this, bro.
No, besides, I'm looking at the Dream. I'm talking about the Dream.
Yes, for the Dream. They played the Vouts for 3 out of their 5 games and lost all 3.
Whose fault was that?
The Dreams, clearly.
I mean,
but still, if you play a team 3 times out of 5 in the last 2 weeks,
they sun you.
I mean, clearly they got sun, but they're gonna work on their schedule because that's crazy.
Wait, we didn't random thought. We didn't talk about this, and we probably aren't going to talk about it today. But there was a 16 trade in the NBA that's irrelevant. Just thought you guys would like to know.
There wasn't 16 trades. I seen it. I was going to add it, but it was way too late.
I saw it, but
it was so irrelevant that it didn't matter.
You saw that Squidward meme, like where he's doing that 10 and he looks and then goes right back to what he's doing.
Yes,
I was like, what's the point?
I saw it and I was like,
Russell. So pretty much, Chris Middleton gets sent back. He spins a block on going back to DC. They look good though. You mean you got Trae Young, you got the Banta, you got Alex Sarr, you got Chris Middleton, you got Anthony Davis, you got a bunch of good players.
They're still not gonna make the playoffs.
I mean, no, they might make it as a play-in.
They not.
The Wizards, they might make.
Bro, bad.
I'm not bad.
Beard back.
So I just had to make sure you said beard back.
No.
Yeah, beard back.
No beard back.
That beard.
No beer bets.
Nah, because I'm not trying to hear it at this point.
No, the Wizards, they're going to be better than advertised.
Y'all see where my hand is, right? It's right here. It's ready for you whenever you're ready.
That hand's going to get real tired standing out. And I'm not
Beard back.
I'm looking at you.
Hey,
at you, world.
Tell us in the comments. Should we have a beard bet?
No.
We'd like to know.
No.
Hey, we like to know in the comment section. Let us know. Hey, because we'll throw it out there. But yeah, Wizards gonna make play?
I think.
Hey, bro, my hand ain't gonna get tired no time soon.
We can do push-ups, but I'm not doing the
beard bet.
Did we start that push-up at 250?
No, we're doing 100.
We starting that at 250. Dog, you gonna be that confident in the Wizards? 250, bro. I'm not trying to hit nothing less. To make the play-in, 250.
I mean, you gotta look at their competition.
You might as well
they getting dog walk, bro. They might be picking top 5. You talking about playing? They picking top 5.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Who was there? Let me see. Detroit.
Hold on, I got you. You know I got you.
Boston, Knicks, Cavs, Raptors.
The LeBron-led Philadelphia 76ers.
No, who was third? And the Hawks. The Hawks are gonna fall off. Sixers. Magic.
Cavaliers.
Magic. Who was Hornets? They're gonna fall off a bit. The Heat are gonna be there.
Heat are gonna be there.
I think they could be 9th or 10th and make some noise in the play-in.
Hold on.
You might as well put your Bucks in there too.
I think they're gonna have a bit of a down year. They're gonna be competitive, but it'll be a bit down year. I am.
So Wizards in the play-in.
The Wizards were the last team in the Eastern Conference, and you saying they gonna make the play-in?
That's what he said.
With the upgrades, I mean, they got Trae Young, they got Anthony Davis, they got Chris Middleton, they got a bunch of good players.
They're not terrible.
You might as well take the bet.
They're 2 years out from making a play, and I'll give you that. They're not making a play in.
250. I got a bunch of bets pending, and I'm like,
Beard bet.
I'll do push-ups over a beard bet.
I'm saying 250 on the bag.
200.
I'm with it.
200.
200.
We shaking? On the sport? Is this happening right now?
On his birthday.
I'm talking this.
Okay.
You're way too much.
You just sit for a beard bet.
No.
He's terrified of the beard. Fear of the beard is real with this guy.
So the bet is 200 on demand that the Wizards make the play-in. Oh my gosh.
Don't worry, I got it here.
This is gold. But there's no way I was doing beer bet.
Beard bet.
That's how we do things over here in Squad Sport Chats. When they be talking crazy, you stick that hand out, you let them know, hey, 200 in demand. On demand because you're talking crazy right now. I ain't trying to hear this. I want to see you get swole. I ain't trying to hear none of all that. Let me hear it. But I appreciate that. But that's our whistle for the day, but the game never really ends. Thank you for spending time with us, sharing your opinions, passion, and love for sports that goes beyond the scoreboard. Huge thank you to our 294 subscribers. We appreciate every single one of you rocking with us. We do apologize for the technical difficulties in the beginning, but we're still on the road to 500 subscribers. If you like what you heard, subscribe, follow, and join the conversation. Make sure to look out for that post for the Crash King. We got to get somebody over here to number 4 out there, 4 in a row. Until next time, stay competitive, stay curious, and keep loving the game. This is Squad Sportcast. We'll see